I remember the book series Goosebumps being a big part of my childhood back in the 90s, and I'm pretty sure that everyone knows what Goosebumps is. For those of you who are unaware of what Goosebumps is, it's basically child's horror, but it's also really cool to read as an adult, especially if you're one of those vintage collectors like me, for example. And this is one of the books in one of the more not as popular sagas, but it's really good nonetheless. The Monster Blood saga. And these were written by R.L. Stine in the 90s. And the illustrations on the original run, except for two covers, were illustrated by Tim Jacobus. And these are really stylized, and I really like the art style. It's fantastic. But this one in particular, this was not the very first sketch that he had drawn of this particular cover. If you look on, I believe it's the Goosebumps wiki, there is a rough sketch of this illustration right here from the front, not from a diagonal perspective. And I believe the glasses are absent right there. I don't believe those were in the first sketch. But I like the little what are those called? Taglines, that's what those are called. I love those on the books. I also love the little blurbs. There's Monster Blood too, by the way. The little blurbs on the back. For example, blood everywhere. Love that one. And then you would see a little description of the story. These can still be really terrifying as an adult, believe me. And it would still advertise. They would advertise the next book in the series. Like, for example, there's Say Cheese and Die. I think I actually have that one. But they went on to make Monster Blood 2, and these are still really terrifying in the greatest way possible. There's the tagline right there. He's one hungry hamster. That's Tuttles the hamster, one of the more popular characters in the Goosebumps franchise. He was very popular in the 90s. Not as popular as, say, Curly the Skeleton or Slappy the Dummy, but still pretty popular. And I forget if I pointed this out, but on the side you would see the number. The text would change in later appearances for the series. There's the title of the book. There's R.L. Stine's name. He's the author of the series. And at the very bottom is where the Scholastic logo is. Normally there would be the price. I believe it's only on the first few issues of the series. Like, for example, right there, you can see that. I think they took that off on the other books, which is very, very strange. For some odd reason, they just decided to omit that. Here's the blurb on the back. It's back. I'm not going to read all that. I'm just going to let it stay on screen for a little bit. The next one was Deep Trouble. I think I might actually have that somewhere. I might have the reprint. This one actually requires a little bit of history, not from the way it was made, but how hard it was to obtain in good shape. But I went through 4 copies of this one because the first one was torn. The second one had a sticker that the adhesive refused to come off without damaging the cover. The third one had a bunch of stickers on it. This one is perfect. Where's the tagline? Where is the tagline? That's supposed to be Evan, by the way. There's a giant. Evan's growing up way too fast. I thought that's a very too fast for a minute. That wouldn't make any sense. Oh, so they migrated that over to the side. My bad. Monster Blood 3. Number 29. We'll get to that one below later. It's the slime that never dies. It came from beneath the sink. I actually don't have that one anymore, but that was my very first Goosebumps book in the 2000s. I want to say, or no, 2010s actually. 2011 is when I got that one. That was after my collection had been sold and I was recollecting them again. But this one also requires a little bit of history. I had a rough time getting this one for a lot of different reasons. It's very hard to obtain, and it's the very last one in the original series. I can prove that. Monster Blood 4, by the way, that's where they would change the logo appearance. Number 62. That is the very last one in the original run. It was never reprinted again except in other countries. Also, I'm gonna show you this. 4 times the evil. 4 times as evil. Never mind. But Goosebumps series 2000. I only have a few books from that series I'm still collecting. And now we're gonna get on to the re-releases. I have a couple. I have a 2010s re-release of Monster Blood somewhere. Here it is. And this is not illustrated by Tim Jacobus. This was illustrated by Brandon Dorman. And I also found out that he did the illustration for the 2015 version of Holes, which is also something that I was not aware of until recently. You can see the brand new style for the logo, brand new style for the font, R.L. Stine. I really love this illustration, by the way. It's really cool. And also, for those of you who are unaware, there was a Goosebumps movie in 2015, and it is fantastic. It also had a sequel movie, which I have unfortunately not gotten to. I want to, though. Goosebumps, right there. It's classic Goosebumps, actually. Monster Blood. R.L. Stine. And now on the back, they advertise introducing Monster Blood. Not blood everywhere. They advertise it differently now. Also, Goosebumps Horrorland. That was in 2008. I believe that was also the series that was illustrated by Brandon Norman before he did the classic Goosebumps series. Look in the back of the book. Yep, there's a recipe for Monster Blood Punch. And now for the earlier releases, because I have to show this comparison so people don't get confused. Here we have one of my absolute favorites. Attack of the Mutant, and this one is in very good shape. Let me show you what it looks like on the side. This is number 25, Attack of the Mutant. Also, this one's illustrated by Tim Jacobus because it was released in the 90s. Read at your own risk. My Hairiest Adventure would be next in the series. But then when they released these, I believe in the early 2000s, before Horrorland came out, these happened. These are still illustrated by Tim Jacobus. You can tell by the art. But the borders are they're kind of strange, actually. But a little bit of a history behind this particular set of re-releases. What was it? Stay Out of the Basement and Be Careful What You Wish For were originally not illustrated by Tim Jacobus at all. But in the re-releases, they were. They have very different illustrations. You would have to look those up, because I unfortunately do not have those releases at current. And now we get into something fun. This is amazing. This is going to be fun. Oh, this is going to be awesome. Give yourself Goosebumps. These are game books, and they have holographic covers. I'm not sure if it's picking that up on the camera. Choose from over 20 different scary endings. Yes, these are out of print, except for one. Please do not feed the vampire. Or no, please don't feed the vampire, pardon me. Reader beware, you choose the scare. And these require a decent amount of history on the covers, on the illustrations, mind you. The very first one, this is not the first one, this is number 2, and I can prove that. Number 2. What was it called? Escape from the Carnival of Horrors. That's the only one illustrated by Tim Jacobus. After that, starting with TikTok You're Dead, which is this one right here, Mark Nagata, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, would illustrate up until book 25, and then after that, Craig White would take over. So that's 3 illustrators, 3 artists for one spin-off series. And yes, these are very hard to find. These were actually given to me. I have a bunch of these from a friend, and I'm very grateful for that. Camera, please focus on that. Camera, can we please focus on that? Get Trapped in Time. So you're basically in control of the story here. They would tell you the next book in the series. There were a lot of spin-off. A lot of spin-off. There were a lot of special edition ones too. One of them I'm trying to hunt down is Revenge of the Body Squeezers. Not Invasion of the Body Squeezers. That's the Goosebumps 2000 series book. Revenge of the Body Squeezers, that's one of the ones I can remember off the top of my head. I think the number one was Return to Terror Tower. And then when Goosebumps Horrorland came around, there was also a game that released for PS2, Wii, and it also came out on Nintendo DS. It's okay. It's just kind of there. I don't hate it. The music is pretty eerie for all the right reasons. And I've actually talked to Tim Jacobus in regards to a few of the character card profiles, the illustrations. He didn't do a lot of them. He only did the ones that they reused. Like, for example, Slappy the Dummy is one of the monster cards you can obtain. Monster Blood is one of the Monster Blood... Yes, Monster Blood is one of the Monster Blood cards you can obtain. Monster Blood is one of the monster cards you can obtain, and pretty much everything that they use from Tim Jacobus' illustrations they use in the game. And as I've established, the Goosebumps TV show was awesome. The films were awesome. I haven't seen the second one, but I really am excited to see that at some point on Netflix or something like that. And we're getting a Goosebumps TV show reboot. I'm excited for that. I believe it starts next week around here. But yeah, I'm actually going to wrap up this video. Thank you all so much for watching. This is Earthworm Joe 94, signing out.